Oh god, what's happening? That's the sound of plugging in a faulty second-hand graphics card. What was the problem? The seller said it was all good. And now your room is on fire. Today, I'm guiding you on how to buy a second-hand graphics card safely. But first, let's take a look at our sponsor from today, keysfan.com.
This guy still has unactivated Windows. I keep telling him to activate it, but he won't listen. You know what that means.
Bro, this guy locked the door again? I know how to fix this. Where's my wallet? Check out keysfan.com for cheap Windows keys. If you use coupon code BEZ50, you can get 50% off Windows licenses. And if you use code BEZ62, you can get 62% off Microsoft Office, and they also have a Microsoft Office and Windows 11 bundle. You can pay via PayPal, and they have a pretty good customer support team. Check out KeysFan, linked in the description. And don't get locked in your room with Mr. Gorilla. First, let's start off with photos and condition. Do the photos look generic, stock images, or catalog shots with perfect studio look? Yes? Then give the graphics card a pass. Do a quick Google image search. If the images are the same or similar on a review site, it's probably time to move on. Now look at the actual condition as well. You want clear shots of the front, back, ports, the model and serial number, the PCI edge connectors as well, so that's the part that goes into the motherboard, power plugs, so the PCIe 8X power connectors, the fans and screws. If anything looks off here, definitely have a think about it. Read the card from the photos and see if there's anything irregular. Baked dust in the fins of the fans, brown staining near the power connectors, oxidization on the heatsink, surface level rust on the screws or the I/O bracket, white or green residue on the PCB, oily marks that suggest any liquids. Any of these with no explanation, it's probably time to move on. If they refuse close-up photos that actually show condition, go on to the next graphics card. Let's have a look at some known weak points to inspect specifically. Check the PCIe edge connector teeth for any burn marks. If there are any burn marks or discoloration, please ask about it. The PCI power connectors, if there's any warping or looks like it's a bit damaged, do make sure to ask. If there are any adapters, make sure to see that they haven't been damaged. You need to check the fans as well to make sure they're spinning correctly, and the fan blades that they're not damaged. The black plate screws as well. It's good to see if they've been opened before. You'll usually be able to see if they have because they'll be a little bit used on the actual screw itself. Check for warranty stickers as well. The ports at the back I/O shield bracket, if it's discolored, that's a major red flag sometimes as it hasn't been kept in a good environment. Look out for general rust, liquid stains, the bent fins on the actual graphics card heat sinks. So when having a look at the heatsink, if it's bent a bit too much, it could mean that it's been a little bit misused. If there's missed or stripped screws, any melted or discolored plastic near the power connector inputs, and this one specifically for the newer graphics cards, for any newer 16-pin power plug connectors, check for melting, warping, and browning, and avoid early angled adapters as those were recalled for those connectors. For the PCIe 8-pin connectors, look for heat marks as well if there are any. Next up we have price and the seller profile. If the price is way under recent local sales and the seller pushes you to pay now, it's time to move on to another graphics card. Good deals exist, but fake urgency is pretty common. You know, the usual, I'm moving overseas and I need to get rid of this ASAP, or I'm selling this on behalf of a friend. Check a few recent sales of the graphics card you're wanting to purchase to look for a normal range for that price. Look at the account as well. Very new, very low feedback, or sudden jump from selling random clothing, for example, to expensive graphics cards sometimes can be a warning. Read their Q&A section if available. If there's robotic replies or changing of details, that's not good. If the seller's feedback isn't so good, there's some other red flags in terms of what he's been selling recently. There's a cheap price and the photos aren't that great. It's time to move on to something else. Payment and pickup method. Only bank account transfer and no pickup allowed can be a red flag. Use buyer protection when you can. On TradeMe, paying with Ping or Afterpay enables buyer protection for up to 2,500 New Zealand dollars, of course subject to terms and conditions. Cash and bank transfers are not covered, so keep that in mind. PayPal purchase protection, for example, as well, can cover eligible items that do not arrive or not as described, subject to their terms and conditions as well. I cannot stress this enough. Please be safe while picking up a graphics card, especially if it's a more expensive one. There is a chance that they might not be good people, so please be safe when you're picking up a graphics card. Bring someone along if you're not too sure. Make sure it's in daylight again, and I cannot emphasize this so much. If it's too good to be true, probably is, and if something feels off, please walk away from the deal. This goes without saying as well. If the seller refuses the buyer protection and they also refuse a safe pickup method, it's time to move on to a different graphics card. Looking at proof before buying is important as well. So aside from the photos, the seller feedback, and the pickup methods, it's important to ask for another couple of things. Ask for one uncut video from a cold boot to desktop so you can see that the PC turns on with the graphics card. GPU Z installed on screen with the model number, device ID, and some other things as well like memory size, bus interface are pretty good to see if the graphics card is real and compares up to what it's supposed to. MSI Afterburner or something similar on screen as well, so you can see temperature and fan speed as well as 1% lows and average FPS is pretty good to have on hand, especially when asking for a video like that. A short benchmark is a really good way to see if the graphics card is running properly. You know, something light in a game, just a 1 minute run or so will be good to see if there are any problems. Ask them to keep a handwritten note in the frame with their username and the date as well. You can also do this for the photos as well if you'd like to confirm they are who they say they are. Adding a quick benchmark synthetic as well, like Unigine Heaven or Superposition, or a 3D Mark Time Spy run can be good, and you can compare it against normal scores for a typical model of that graphics card. If the clip shows obvious throttling, so for example the 1% lows and average FPS are disturbingly low for some reason, or the score is way off with normal clock speeds and temperatures, that can be a red flag. High temperatures as well are also a red flag for the thermal paste that's getting a bit old, but it is just a thing to keep in mind as well. If the clip shows obvious thermal throttling, for example it's really high, you know, just a bit too much for that graphics card, or these scores, for example on 3D Mark, are just not normal, then that can be a red flag. Artifacting as well and flickering on the screen can be an indication that there's something wrong with the graphics card as well, so please keep that in mind. If they keep avoiding these questions that you're asking in terms of stability and temperatures, it's probably time to move on to something else. Tests to do if you're picking up in person. Of course, in a public place if possible with daylight. If you are going to pick it up at their house, let's have a look at what you can do to confirm it works. First, confirm it displays an image, of course, on the screen. Open up GPU-Z, download it and install it to check if the GPU matches up correctly. If possible as well, do a quick 3D Mark pass, something like Time Spy or Port Royale if possible, and see if the scores sit normal in for that range of the graphics card and model. Watch out for thermal throttling and where the clock speeds can fall quickly while temperatures spike. Combustor or Thermark are pretty good as well for a brief sanity check of the temperature, as well as IDA64 if you'd like to use that as well. Of course, if the temperatures are too high, it might be time to walk away from the card. If it black screens, if it shows lines or artifacting, behaves oddly, don't buy it. Next up, we have ownership and warranties. Ask for a clear serial sticker photo of the graphics card and the receipt if they have it. Missing or scratched serial numbers is probably a time to move on. Please keep in mind, in terms of warranty, many brands do not transfer their warranty onto their second owners, and only some honor the warranty in the country of purchase only. So for example, if it was purchased overseas, assume no local warranty unless the brand has confirmed it online. I've got some questions for you guys to copy and paste. It'll be in the description as well. So questions to ask in one go. Is it fully functional and working? Is it crashing or artifacting? So does that mean, is there anything popping up on screen that there shouldn't be? I'll give an example on screen. Has it been used for mining, and for how long? How long have you owned it, and are you the first owner? Where was it purchased? Has it ever been opened, repaired, BIOS flashed, or had the pads or paste replaced? What temperatures do you see in light benchmarks and in a normal game? The answers from the seller should be clear and consistent. If you are seeing artifacting in a live test, that often points to something wrong with the graphics card. A quick sanity check as well can be to downclock the memory to isolate what's going on the spot. But to be honest guys, if you are seeing artifacting on screen, just give the graphics card a pass. Do not deal with something that has a problem with it. The reason as well that we want to ask if a graphics card has been previously opened is to see if it has new thermal paste and new thermal pads. If it does, that can actually be a benefit. However, at the same time, if it has been opened and that hasn't been changed, there could have something else that has gone wrong with the graphics card. So it's good to find out if it has been previously opened, just to see what they were up to when it was opened up. So how do we pay safely and keep a record? If bank account transfer is your only option, pay only after inspecting it. And if you're going to get it shipped to you, make sure that you have all the photos and videos you need before putting that payment out. Next up, this kind of ties into before. After it arrives, we need to do some things. First off, film the unboxing in one continuous take. It does not matter if you're going to get it shipped to your house or if you're going to pick it up yourself and bring it home. This protects you if anything goes wrong. Video proof makes disputes and returns much easier. It's time to install the graphics card now. Make sure you put in all the connectors properly. Make sure it's plugged in right before you turn the computer on. If you are swapping brands as well, you're going to have to run DDU, which is a driver display uninstaller, and then install the latest stable drivers for your graphics card. Now it's time to test. A short stability check in IDA64 or OCTT will help. 3D Mark Time Spy or Port Royale if the card supports it. Then you're good to go. If the games are good, you'll be able to tell. If they're not, contact the seller as soon as you can. Now it's time to watch the games. Have MSI Afterburner open and ready to go. Then in the games, watch the average FPS, the 1% lows, the temperatures, the clock speed, and fan behavior. Compare your scores, for example, if you're using something like 3D Mark, to the normal scores for your model. If you are way off with normal temperatures or clock speeds, probably investigate it and ask the seller as well what could have gone wrong, or if there's something else wrong with it, get in contact with the seller as soon as possible. Many cards are used for a couple of years now, so if temperatures are high for the model, the fans are going to have to ramp up a little bit more in order to keep the graphics card cooler. Power down and of course remove the graphics card, and then from there make sure to take the correct steps to replace the thermal paste and thermal pads. If you guys want to see a video of me doing it on my 980 Ti from a couple of years ago, it'll be linked in the description, as well as the top left hand corner on the screen. with the information icon. I wanted to have a section on crypto mining cards. So there is a bit of risk and we have to determine if it's good value for money in terms of the pricing. Graphics cards that have been mined on do not automatically make them a bad choice. There can be a lot of good deals for second-hand crypto mine cards. Some of them could have been undervolted, for example, or run at a steady clock speed. What matters for this is the proof, condition, and price. If at the same price, there are two cards. There's the mined on card and the non-mining card. If they're the same price, pick the non-mining card, of course, because it's more likely that it's had fewer hours on it and therefore as well been stored in better conditions. If the mining card is cheaper and the proof of the video looks clean, the temperatures are normal, the benchmark scores match the typical results, and the physical condition looks good, it can still be a fine buy. Just make sure that you might have to repaste the card a little bit sooner than normal, and do expect things like oxidation on parts of the graphics card. For example, on this graphics card here, this is a 5600 XT. If you have a look at the back, it's completely black there, so you can see it's oxidized quite a bit. The fins as well in some places here have been slightly damaged, so do expect stuff like that. And when mine came, it actually had quite a bit of dust on the actual fans, so you know, it is just one of those things, but I got this for a very good deal, so it is working still to this day. You can get some good cards that have been mined on. Just make sure that it's worth the money and you are getting a good discount on it. Let's go over our red flag recap. Stock or stolen looking photos are a red flag. The seller's refusal to provide close-up condition photos is not good. Prices that are far below normal with pressure to pay as well is a red flag. I made a video on 2 RTX 4090 scams in New Zealand a couple of months ago. Check them out if you guys would like to have a look, as those prices were way below normal price. Bank account transfer with only pickup option can be a problem. No video that's uncut for proof, as well with the username or date, can be a red flag. Missing or damaged serial stickers is not a good thing. Rust, liquid stains, burn marked, baked on dust, or missing screws, strip screws as well, warped or browned 16-pin plug connectors, so that's one for the new one, or if it's been used with a sketchy power adapter as well. The PCI Edge connector has burn marks on it, which is not good. If there's no display, if it's crashing under light load, honestly, if it's crashing at all, that's not a good thing. And if it's artifacting or showing lines on the screen, it's time to move on to something else. That about sums it up. If you guys want to copy and paste these questions to ask the seller, go ahead, they're in the description. And I'm also going to leave, hopefully, a small checklist on what to look for a good graphics card. What do you guys think? Is this guide going to help you out in the long run for buying a second-hand graphics card? And what are the stories for you buying a second-hand graphics card? Let me know in the comments. That about sums up the video. Check out ystech.org for some more awesome content. But other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!